Hey, what is up, guys? And welcome back to another Magic the Gathering Online League. We are on the draw for Game 1 against Caballero? Caballero? I think that's how you say it. Don't know. First hand was a bit rough. Second hand's not much better, to be honest. I mean, if we were to high roll into a 7-drop, this hand would be great. It would have good resistance to Boros Energy as well, which is something that I like. But, I mean, we're gambling on, a 20% chance, which isn't bad. It's just not great. If I had 2 draws, it might be a little bit more tempting. I think we do have better 5-card hands. You know what? I'll keep it. So this allows us to go Utopia Sprawl on 1. Temple into Command on 2. And I think we want to try and Karn on 3, so I think we keep this. Now, if our command gets countered, we might be just a little bit SOL. Just a tiny weeny bit. Breeding Pool, Shock. Ancient Stirring. This feels like Eldrazi ramp. If I had to wager a guess. So going for land destruction Karn is going to be really important here. Game 1 is definitely, I think I'm favored. Game 2, 3, I want to say they're favored because they do have Consigned to Memory in the side. Still not sure if Ancient Stirrings or TKS or Thought-Knot Seer is what will be running this list. Still haven't figured that out. Well, let's go Catacombs. Crack Catacombs. Let's grab a Forest. Utopia Sprawl for red. And pass the turn. Our opponent is on a slow start, which is good for us. Unless we see like a temple or a lab here. Well, there's the temple. The rumble? A rumble. Ghost Quarters. Is it non-basic, does it say? Destroy target land. Never realized Ghost Quarters said destroy target land outright. That's kind of wild. So they can get rid of the Utopia Sprawl. So it'll be down a land regardless. Not horribly thrilled about that. I'll be real. Also, now that I'm no longer playing Mystic Forge, I can probably take the stop off my upkeep. But I think I do want to put a stop on opponent's draw. Well, let's go Eldrazi Temple. Moto, it's the first game of the day. What is wrong with you? All I want to do is play a land. Apparently, either Moto or my computer ain't too thrilled about that prospect, though. 2, 3, 4. If they have another soul land, that would be problematic. Opponent is thinking. There's the Ghost Quarters as anticipated. And they'll probably, crack it during my upkeep? Impulse, yep. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So they do have 6. Well, let's go ahead, ramp and draw. So there's an interesting thought to where I could force them to actually Ghost Quarters now if I keep a card on top, which is really funny to think about. I'd have to keep 2 on top. It'd be a huge gamble. But it's not really worth it because actually does it come and play tapped or untapped? Just onto the battlefield. So I'll bottom both. Draw. I thought I bottomed the forest. Wow, that's unfortunate. Actually, no, it's fine. We're fine. We get to replace the land. Yeah, we're fine. Hit the temple, you coward. Yeah. We'll draw. Grab a forest. Play a forest. Going to go with Sowing Mycospire. And kick the temple. And we will grab a temple. It would have been nice to have one more land, actually, or mana for the impulse. Tis would have been nice, but our opponent's going to be in dire straits because we're going to remove another mana source when we play Karn. And I think at that point, especially with a Liquid Metal Coating on my turn, they're going to be in trouble. But definitely Temur Eldrazi-tron. Oh, not Eldrazi-tron, Eldrazi Ramp. There's a Mycospawn of their own. Tis a Mycospawn of their own. So they are also ramping. Imagine you grab a temple. You do. KKK. Well, the Devour ain't doing much. I will not attack. I will go to second main, though. Cavernous Souls. Name Eldrazi. And let's go ahead and play Karn. And we will then grab a Liquid Metal Coating. Let's Liquid Metal Coating the temple. And pass. I mean, you attacking with Mycospawn, we'll trade. Your saving grace would be a Kozilek's command. Well, that's about it. I mean, even if you do that, we can minus Karn for an EE on 0 to clear the spawns if I really would like to. Windswepties, so you have 3 mana. I guess you could command X3 for what it's worth. Yeah, Into the Mirror, I feel like my version with Karn definitely comes out on top most times. At least in game 1. Game 2 and 3 can be a bit iffy. This tells me they don't have command. Otherwise, I feel like they would have gone on an untapped land to try and ramp further. Refusing to attack. Interesting. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 with the Devourer. Well, let's go ahead and Liquid Metal Coating the Eldrazi Temple. Do you tap for the 2? You do. Vel, let's change phases. So you do have the Kozilek's command. So that'll be X2. Why didn't you get an untapped land, though, instead of the Hedge Maze? You could have X3, unless you have a land in hand, which is a thought. So might we play the Thought-Knot Seer before activating Karn's Wish? take a peek of what they drew into and what they have available to them. Okay, well, in that case, let's go ahead and Thought Knot. What you got in that hand there, friend? Oh, fine. Keep your secrets. Temur, Eldrazi ramp, win for game 1. On to sideboarding for a game 2. Return really isn't doing much here. Would much rather have Stone Brains. Haywire Might's kind of nyeh. Like, it can get rid of a source, but it's not the best in the world, but it is something. I guess the question is it worth bringing in the matchup? I can see an argument for it, but I'm not sure. That's a good question. Leave a comment down below. Do you think Might is worth it in the matchup? I think Stonebrain is. I think stripping out Sowing Mycospawn and Worldbreaker early is really strong here, as the matchup really is dependent on land destruction. I mean, I'm running, what, 4, 8, 12 equivalent land destruction spells? So I'm really here to disrupt what my opponent wants to do. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know if Might is worth it. Like I said, let me know what you think down in the comments. But we'll ship it. On the draw for game 2. Imagine opponent brought in Consign to Memory, maybe a Dampening Sphere, Force of Vigor. I don't know what else. This hand actually looks really nice because it could be a turn 3 kicked Mycospawn. It could be a turn 3 Karn. It could be a turn 2 Thought Knot Seer. It could be a turn 2 Kozilek's Command. So honestly, looking pretty good here. I'll reveal Devourer. I'm still surprised that a lot of Eldrazi Ramplists don't run for Devour. Devour is just such a good card. Because I can take these hands and they're very speculative, but like we have a lot of hits. Malevolent Rumble's a good hit. I mean, there's the Mycospawn. It's a turn 3 Mycospawn. I think it's worth it. As long as they don't hit us of a turn 3, that is. That would be the fear. Lab. Well, that's 4 mana turn 2. So they could be setting up for a turn 3 after all. They could be setting up for a turn 3. Either Sowing Mycospawn or Worldbreaker. Seems to be what they're doing, if I had to wager a bet, since they're not playing anything. I mean, most Temur Eldrazi Ramplists do not run Thought Knot. So normally when they set up colorless, it's because they have the command in hand. That would be my guess. Stonebrain, you say? Well, let's go ahead and play the Temple, or the Talisman of Impulse. If they don't have it, I think we win. If they do have it, we're gonna have to play a bit of catch up with Sowing Mycospawn. Either ways, we will cast it. That much is clear. Holy hell, what? That's surprising. What is this hand then? Unless did they misplay? Talisman. There's no blue source for Consign either. What was the hand they kept? Malevolent Rumble? Whatever they took, it ain't good. I'll tell you that much. Probably take the Temple. And I will admit that this Rumble helps them out a lot if they take the Temple. If they don't take the Temple, which I think would be a mistake, then they're in trouble. Because it's turn 3, they now have 7, 8. So, Ghost Quarters. You suck. In that case, we're gonna have to gamble here. Oh, that's so funny. That is so funny. Let that resolve. Yes. So I could X for the command. I think there's an argument for doing so. It allows us to play Karn, generate some mana, and dig deeper. In fact, you know what I'm tempted to do is generate mana and get rid of their Eldrazi spawn. Because if I play Karn, even with a green source, they're short. So let's generate mana and exile their spawn. In fact, I could just... Maybe don't even generate mana. Well, at the same time, I do want to get this Myco spawn online. So yes, I will do this. X4. Play Footed Woothills. Crack the Woothills. Grab a forest. Two card types, 3, 4, 5, 6. You're significantly short 7, 8 as far as mana is concerned. You currently don't have any colored sources. So I think we just go liquid metal coating and pass. He thinks you in trouble because I'm going to take out 2 lands next turn. What you thinking there, friend? Karn's so good in this matchup. There's the Temple. And without that green source, they really don't have much short of the Kozilek's command. I don't know why it does that sometimes. It quite literally just passed into combat. Fine though, it's fine. We go kicked Myco spawn. I wonder if I click 2 instead of 1. Maybe that's it. Get rid of Eldrazi Temple. Grab Ugin's Lab. Imprint Devourer. So if they X4, right? They'll have access to 4, 5, 6. So 4, 4, 8, 10. At most, they would be able to generate, yeah. go liquid metal coating. Target. I do wish that I hadn't accidentally skipped my main phase, because I would have been able to phase change and at least force their hand. We could have then Karn for Karn for EE, X equals 0 instead, and taken up more mana that way. A little bit frustrating. Thankfully, those type of mistakes won't happen in paper, where it particularly matters, but I do need to figure out what's causing that mistake when I think I'm clicking 1, but I guess clicking 2. I guess the biggest concern here might be a Null Drifter. We'll have 2, 6, 1 land would get them 7 to Null Drifter. If that were the case, we could easily manage that with a bridge or a leveler. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'd be too short, so I need a lab for a leveler, though. There's the forest. So yeah, what happened did significantly affect the game, because now they have Null Drifter. They'll draw 2, for what it's worth. I pressed. See, it happened again. What's happening? I'm pressing 1, but it's going straight through my main. What in the world? I have a stop on my main. Oh. So, yeah, I clearly played a lot of matches of Eldrazi and had a stop on my upkeep for Mystic Forge. I no longer have that stop on my upkeep. Yes. This is why. It's not because I'm pressing 2, but because I removed the stop on my upkeep. I understand. Wow. Let's get rid of Ugin's Lab and tick up on Karn. Frickin' wild. Frickin' wild. Friend, you have no lands, and I have a blocker. You can go ahead with that Annihilator one. I'm telling you, friends, the power of Karn is real. That, a clean 2-0 against Team Eldrazi Ram, even with my blunder of removing the stop on upkeep. That's a whoops. Good news, didn't matter. But had I played the way I wanted to by liquid metal coating, targeting their Eldrazi Temple in main, phase 1, them tapping, it would have phase changed. They would have gone Kozilek's command. I would have minus Karn for EE, swept 4 mana rather than 2. The Null Drifter wouldn't have even been a question. But it worked out in the end. So I'm not going to care too much. Just want to point out what I was planning on doing. With that being said, we'll be back for match 2. Alright. And we are back for match 2 on the play for game 1 against Just Baker. This hand's really good if we land on a lab or temple off Devourer. I will keep this. I do wish that this was a lab in my hand rather than a temple, so we could try and high roll the other way around. It also would be a bit safer in comparison. But it's still pretty good. I'd also be happy with a Malevolent Rumble. So there's a lot of good hits here off Devourer. Temple, Lab, Rumble. Even Utopia Sprawl would be okay. We'd be able to go Temple, Windswept Heath, Crack, Forest, play Talisman, play Sprawl. That would give us 2, 3, 4, 5. We would be a Soul Land off of Breaker on 3. So we have some choices. 1, 2. So I mean, this is interesting. It's a Soin Microspawn on 3 into potential Breaker on 4. It's not my favorite thing to see, I'll be honest. I will take the Microspawn. Not press 1 after the draw. And pass. Yeah, I would really have liked this this temple to be a lab, but sometimes it do not work out that way. Saga. Okay. What type of Saga deck are we playing against today? Mono green Basking Brute Scale combo, Hardened Scales, Temur Grinding Station, Affinity. Are there just 4 of them, or are there more? I want to say there are at least main 4 that I can think of off the top of my head. Oh, Amulet Titan 5. It's not a Saga deck, but it uses Saga pretty well. So let's go ahead and play the Talisman and pass. All right, so we are trying to high roll into... Okay, so we high roll into 2 things here. A Soul Land, fantastic. This is Titan. I need a Soul Land now, friends. Actually, I might play Thought Knot if I don't draw into a Soul Land. I think Thought Knot is necessary at this point in time to disrupt their hand, lest I think we die either next turn or the turn after. Otherwise, if we find a Soul Land, Microspawn into kick Saga into Breaker, break whatever is in front of me. Bounce land, dead. Crumbling Vistage, if that's still your only land, dead. Rinse, repeat. Otherwise, I think we go Thought Knot. Because I can't guarantee that we survive next turn. Point blank statement. Okay. Malevolent Rumble. So, we could attempt to high roll into a Soul Land. Or just a land with Thought Knot as backup. Let's go ahead and do just that. Yes. Oof. That is a big oof. Man. I was really hoping to see a land so I could do something at the very least. Like I said, I don't foresee us surviving, but definitely not now if we can't cast Thought Knot. Maybe we should just cast the Thought Knot. Ugh. That's a rough one. Well, we'll grab the Sprawl. Can't even play that this turn. Big oofs. Well, let's see if we're dead. If we're not, we might still have something. Again, we'd want a Soul Land in order to get rid of the Talisman of Vigor. The safer play was to play Thought Knot. That there is no ifs, ands, or buts about that fact. The safer play was to play the Thought Knot. However, even the Thought Knot alone didn't guarantee my safety, and it really meant that I was kind of short the following turn. So I thought it best to try and high roll, and if we whiffed and just hit a land instead of a Soul Land, then that's fine, right? Because then we can still play the Thought Knot. We find a soul land that we can play with Thought Knot, and we'll have a kicked Myco Spawn or World Breaker the following turn. I didn't think with there being how many lands in my deck? 15 out of the remaining 47 that we were going to whiff that hard, though. That was unexpected. Hold up. They didn't tap their Saga for mana. Why? Did they mess up? Did they misplay? Or does it not matter? Am I dead? Is it going to be another Amulet of Vigor? Oh, it's going to be a Lotus Field. Okay, are you going to Yes. Oh. Oh, no. Yeah, so now you're going to Aftermath Analyst. So generate green. Yeah. Now, you won't have enough for shifting woodland, though. You will be short. Actually, will you? Saga Land Enchantment. Aftermath Analyst Creature. You need one more type in yard. Yes, this resolves. I can't do much about this right now. In fact, you might just win off of Titan. If you have Titan in hand, if you have Green Sun Zenith in hand, if you have a Summoner's Pact in hand, you win. I mean, I'm just going to pass the turn. There's no point in me responding anymore. Yeah, I mean, I had a 33% chance per card seen to find a land. It's kind of nutty that I didn't see one. Okay, so you don't have it, but you now have 2 Lotuses. Okay. You still don't have the types necessary for shifting woodland, so you don't have the full Analyst combo yet. You're very close, though, and that scares me. Don't get me wrong. You're still going to have to sacrifice 2 cards. So you pick up 1, sack 2. I mean, you have to have the Titan, right? And sack Lotus. What's happening? See, I thought you were angling for the Aftermath Analyst combo. But with the Shifting Woodland and Grave, I guess you could have Lumra? You could have Lumra. Or you could just have the Titan. And if you have the Titan, you win. You don't have the double blue for Teleria West, which I also thought you may have been grabbing with the Cave. Azusa. Okay. You can play 2 additional lands. Mirror Pool. Sure. Do you have the Titan? Okay, you have the Titan. Okay, so bottom line, the safe bet for this game was for me to cast the Thought Knot. I took the risky one in hopes of landing a higher value turn, what would it be, turn 3 play, and it backfired. Oh, was it turn 3 or turn 4? No, it was turn 3. Yeah, I was on the play. No, I guess, so yeah, it would have been a higher value turn 4 play. I clearly missed the mark. Unfortunate. But sometimes, yeah, just have to go for it. Okay, so now I can haste the Titan. I'm not dead, though, is the thing, right? The game's not over. Unless you can figure out a way to Valakut me to death. I mean, there's Beseiju, so you can Beseiju a land. That's annoying, but fine. I will not block. And Beseiju the temple. Spelunking. Do you have another bounce land? No, Dryad Arbor. Well, I guess you have a legendary creature and a bounce land. Okay. So Vigor, untap, and then bounce. I don't know. Your Lotus Field? Mirror Pool. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Hold up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You know they had the Mirror Pool. Them picking that up was probably the best thing they could have done. Unfortunate. Because I really wanted to hit that with the Myco spawn. So we'll go Wooded Foothills. Crap. What does the most damage? Probably Hamir Battlements. Because they can copy a Titan, that's fine, but the copy can't attack, we're still in it. I'm still surprised they didn't Beseiju me, though. That's what confuses me the most. We'll grab another temple. Why do it now? That's what I don't understand. Guess I'll grab the Stomping Grounds tapped. They have the Mirror Pool. They can't copy, nor can they haste. I'll take the 6, unless you have a Dryad Arbor. But I feel like you would have played that beforehand, because then the 2 triggers would have killed me anyways. The Talaria West is a bit of a problem. But I can't get the Dryad Arbor on field now. I think it is worth blocking just to mitigate 3 damage. Talaria. For Summoner's Pact. Summoner's Pact for Dryad? There's the Dryad. Do you have a bounce land? You need 3 triggers from Valakut. There's one. There's 2. I now need a land. That's not a land, that's a Devourer. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yes, we are dead. I specifically needed to be able to cast Devourer, exile Titan. That way I can block the Dryad if they had attacked. So unfortunate. Alright, and we concede. Okay, so it is standard Temur Amulet Titan. Lost for game 1. We will go to sideboard, bring in 2 Stonebrain and a Haywire Mites. We'll get rid of the returns. Stonebrain Might. On the play for game 2, I'll keep this. Karn is going to be important here. We'll reveal Devourer. Another Kozilek's command. We already have the Stomping Grounds Utopia Sprawl. Might be good for a third land, because I think we're not really going to get anything going until turn 3, so Cavernous Souls. Let's go Stomping Ground. Untapped. Utopia Sprawl target and pay for it. And I guess generate green, because we have nothing that we're paying red for. So green. Imagine if you could put that on colorless. Any color or colorless. That'd be fantastic. It's so good. Saga. Amulet. That's scary. Vel. We can do one of two things. We can rumble and try and find a Sowing Microspawn or World Breaker, because we have 2, 4, 5, 6. So it'd be really a Sowing Microspawn. We can Temple, because let's command X2. X2 would give me 6 mana next turn. We'd be able to see 2 deep. So we see only a smaller bit, or we see not as deep as Rumble, right? Difference is that I would be able to cast Karn next turn and have a Might. Oh. Let's go Temple. I think, while we might not see as deep, it's more likely to give us better results. So that, and also we could always hit an Aftermath Analyst if they cast it. And pass. They could make a Construct here, and that would actually be really good for them. I'd probably have to exile it with command. Well, there's the battlements. Well, let's cast Kozilek's command. X equals 2. Sowing Microspawn can get rid of the Saga. Yeah, I mean, I think that is worth it. So we can play Cavernous Souls. I'm thinking here for a second. So Microspawn 2, 4, 6. Is there a world where we can also play Karn? 2, 4, 6, 7, 8. No, but there's a world where we do play Malevolent Rumble as well. So let's play the Cavernous Souls. Name Eldrazi. Now we can rumble before or we can rumble after, right? So we go double green. Green. We'll kick the Microspawn, hitting the Saga. We'll grab... Not sure if the Devour matters. I think we do grab the Lab. At the same time, we could grab Sanctum of Ugin. We'll have a Rumble, though, so not... Well, maybe Sanctum of Ugin's good there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Rumble will give us 7. Huh. That might be worth it, actually. Leave my haste alone. No. I mean, I'm leaving your haste alone. Not your Saga, though. Your Saga gets exiled. Let's go ahead and Rumble. There's the Breaker. Breaker do be breaking. Okay, things are looking good. Question of the day, am I dead this turn? If I am not, then I should be able to get rid of Vigor. Okay, so now you have 3 mana. You have Dryad. Dryad. You have another land. Teleria West. That's fine. That's only 3 mana. You can get up to 5 at most. No, whoops. Didn't mean to do that. I still need to get used to not pressing OK right at the start. I only pressed 1. I did not press 2. Maybe I need to put the stop on upkeep back. Not gonna lie. We did not pass the turn. We just went to second main. Moto. Moto, you're scaring me. Okay, thank God. Eldrazi Temple. Yeah, if anyone has any good recommendations or solutions for how clunky Moto's been, let me know down in the comments. I've tried reinstalling, and it really hasn't helped. It could just be my PC, honestly. I need to get a new one. I just can't afford it right now. So, you know, it'd be like that. World Breaker be breaking. So 2, 4, 6, 7, 8. I mean, we have enough for Emrakul if we wanted. Or we can just keep on just hammering away at their lands and artifacts. I can just keep on hammering away at their lands and artifacts, to be honest. Another Teleria West. There's Handweir. I don't know why they would play that right now. 2, 3, 4, 5. Huh. I mean, next turn, we need to get rid of the Dryad. Or we can Karn and grab Disruptor Flute, naming a Primeval Titan. Right now they have 4 mana. Okay, so they have 5. I could control your turn. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. I could control your turn. That's a thing I could do. How much could I... It's so tempting. But I don't know if I win. We're doing it. We're doing it. I can only take out 1 land anyways. Emrakul says hello. Down to 5. I so wish you cast Pact last turn. Would have been so funny. The copy of a land that is in a graveyard. Well, we'll draw. Dryad Arbor. I mean, cast Pact, fail to find. Yes. I mean, the alternative... So the funny alternative actually would have been play Hainrib Battlements, Echoing Depths, and not bring into play tapped. Play Primeval Titan, grab Valakut and another land. That would have been 6. It would have triggered twice. I could have killed him that way. Well, friend, I sees nothing. I'm really tempted to kill them with their own Valakut. Not gonna lie. I don't think there's a reason to do so. Okay, well, we go to combat. Lock with the Emrakul. And pass. And pass. Alright, friend. Have fun with your lands, or lack thereof. Alright, win for game 2. Either ways, I knew I was winning. I just didn't want to, like, give them board presence when I didn't have to. Well, we'll run it back all the same. I will keep this. Yes. Keep. This might be too slow. We'll find out. And I need to remember, do not press 1 once it gets to my turn. We're going immediately to draw. Temple. Pass. Pass. Ooh, second one. That is scary. Ooh, you don't say. Okay. Temple. Pass. We're going to hold the ability to respond. I don't think they have the win yet. Otherwise, they wouldn't have played the second saga. Maybe. We'll find out. There's an Amulet. Do you have the turn 3 win? Oh, God. Oh, no. Okay, right now you have 5 mana. You need a +1. Right now that includes Azusa, Dryad, and... Okay. This is fine. A little bit confused, not gonna lie. Okay, so let's look at this. We got Karn. We got Labs. That's 4. But then what? We'll have 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 out of 13. Okay, so this is risky. We do take Karn. That much is certain. We will drop the Temple, top the Karn, and draw. Does that change things? No, the forest doesn't change things, I don't think. Because we need to lab 4, and then I have 2 remaining. So we go lab. Tuck the Devourer. What we're going to have to do is grab Liquid Metal Coating. And how this is going to work is that when the bounce land enters, while the triggers are on the stack, we'll then make it an artifact, and they won't be able to tap it from here. Liquid Metal Coating. And then pass. Next turn we can EE for 1. Make a mana. Yes, you have all the mana you need. Okay, here we go. They stack the triggers in response. It untaps. Does exactly what you wanted it to do. You just can't make any mana, friend. And now you have to bounce it too. Yes! My knowledge of Amulet Titan pays off. So, now we can do a couple things. So Karn minus. Engineered explosives. Play forest. Play EE on 1. Play Thought Not Seer. This should be the game. I don't foresee a situation where this isn't. Well, that's just rude. Yes. For the sake of it, that becomes an artifact now. Have fun. Well, we'll take the Titan. Or is the Analyst more of a concern? They need to get the 4 mana. They'll have 3. I can deal with the Aftermath Analyst with command, so we take the Titan. And we pass. Alright, I think we got there. Make a mana. There's an Amulet. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Another con. Well, we can do a few things, right? I could take up Karn on Amulet, get rid of their last Amulet, mind you, and then Kozilek's command it. I'm curious how so. How so? Opponent's saying that they misplayed. I mean, getting rid of their amulets is just a good option. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Should have forced the coding the turn you played it. Yeah, that was a misplay. Yeah. That's an oof. That's an oof right there, friend. Click the Ren step. I've been there, done that, so I feel ya. But I think this is GG's, friend. Alright, well, let's go ahead and exile it as well as ramp. We'll play... Actually, I'm gonna just play Karn. Another one. And we'll grab a Tormod script just in case it becomes relevant. And we'll go to attacks. I have 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. There's the Gruul Turf. Imagine they bounce it back the hand, or rather force back the hand. Go to combat. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Tuck the Promised End. Minus Karn. Yes. Grab Leveler. Return Devourer. Get rid of you. Pass. Grab the map. And I think that's that, friend. GG's. Good luck. Next match. Alright, well, that being said, while it may have been the result of misplay, though I actually can't say with any degree of certainty, a win is a win, and misplays are meant to be learning experiences, and I'm sure that they will not forget this moment. I've been on the opposite end of the table, passing through end step with something to do, and I've kicked myself into oblivion to the point where I am far more careful. It is one of those things that is much more likely to happen on Moto than it is the paper, but both teach you very different skills, and both can be very different in experience. But either ways, I wish them the best of luck in their next match, and with that being said, we'll be back for match 3. Alright, and we are back for match 3 on the playing game 1 versus Meechant. I think that's how you say it. I'll keep this. Would love to see a soul land next turn for a turn 2 Thought Knot. Otherwise, we're going to go Impulse. Excuse me. Into Thought Knot on turn 3. Not my favorite thing in the world, but 'tis the risk of attempting to high roll into a soul land. Temple or lab? There's the temple. We'll play the temple, pass. So we're going to play Temple Thought Knot next turn. Hedge Maze, okay, so it could be Eldrazi Ramp. It's could be Amulet Titan, not normal, but based on the bauble, that tells me it is Temur Grinding Station. Let's take a peek. Unholy Heat, Malevolent Rumble. Well, they don't have Delirium right now. They also don't have a red source right now. So let's hit the Rumble. Yes. I think that is more important, as it also is really good fodder, as we have painfully learned twice now for Underworld Breach. So I imagine they go Saga, then I guess Tamiyo? Yes. What do we draw into? A lab, you say? Well, don't mind if I do. So that will allow us to play lab, tuck Emrakul, play Impulse, go to combat. And next turn we can play Sanctum of Ugin and then cast the Devourer to probably exile. Should we exile the Tamiyo or the Emery? That is the question now, ain't it? You'll attack. You'll get a clue. You could play Emery here. Saga. Yes. Emery. I think we take care of Emery. Tamiyo, why? Methinks that my opponent misplayed. I don't know why I think that, but I just have a sneaking suspicion. Well, nonetheless, on to game 2, where I bring in Brain, Might, and kick the returns. One could argue Dismember for Emery. They don't run Harbinger, so I don't really need to worry about that. So I think we just run it back like this. Again, with the 61 card special. Maybe we could drop an Emrakul. I mean, Thought-Knot's good here. Micah Spawn's good here. On the draw for game 2. You know what? I will keep this. This is a turn to rumble. So I do like this. I've been getting more and more comfortable with like a turn to rumble like this. I think it is not the best in the world, but it's okay. Steam Vent Shock. For a Preordain. I'm actually okay seeing a Preordain over a Tamiyo. I'm actually a bit more scared of a Tamiyo making those clues. Well, let's go Misty Rainforest Crack for a forest. We'll go Utopia Sprawl. I guess on double green. Yeah. Don't have anything else we need to do. Now the question is, do we rumble first or we Sanctum of Ugin? I think we rumble first in case we find ourselves with a soul land. If you find yourselves with a soul land, you'll be able to kick a Mycospawn next turn. That would be really nice. And the following turn, we could do a Kozilek's Command X whatever, and we would be able to grab a Breaker. There's an Opal. There's a Scalding Tarn. Ooh, another Mycospawn. Well, let's rumble. Come on, Soul Land, specifically Temple. There's the Temple. Play the Temple and hold up the command. So now we can go Sanctum of Ugin into Sowing Mycospawn, and we can kick any of their lands. Green would be good for something like Malevolent Rumble. Red would be good for Underworld Breach. Underworld Breach is probably better, but now they have either or. So here's Malevolent. No, there's Grinding Station. That's a bit concerning. Not going to lie. Interesting. Do I think they have the win next turn is the question. Well, let's go Sanctum of Ugin as planned. We'll kick the Mycospawn, get rid of Hedge Maze. Scalding Tarn, do you have the Consigned Memory? And which counter will you hit? The exile, the land, or otherwise? The land ramp, really? It's a bit surprising. Okay, Mox Opal online. Do you have the breach? If you have the breach, what's the benefit? There's the breach, so you're trying to high roll now. Opal. There's an amber and an opal. Was it correct? Was it correct to hold up the Kozilek's command? Did it matter if we held up the Kozilek's command. They would have had the extra mana, so probably not. We see that a win condition of theirs is Thassa's Oracle. So we'll keep that in mind for Stonebrain. They see Karn and Grave, so they could be mindful of that. Leave a comment down below what the right play was here based on the board state. Hi, Butter. You want lap time? Yeah, based on the board state, was it right to hold up command? Was it right to play Thought Knot? What was the right move there? Why? What? I was about to say, why am I given the opportunity to respond? I press 6. So I think we lose game 2. They have their win condition in the grave. They have the mana production. Yeah, I don't know. Because they're going to consign whatever we cast, so casting a Thought Knot would have resulted in a consign anyways. We could have held up the Kozilek's command and gone X equals 3. But that would have likely have gotten consigned as well. Yeah, I don't know. Nothing too out of the ordinary here, though we've only seen one win condition. I'm fairly certain. Yeah, only one win condition outside of the, Saga tokens. Just making sure they don't have like a Jace, something like that we need to be worried about. Because otherwise we can just go Stonebrain named Thassa's Oracle. But so far that doesn't seem to be the case. Like I said, I'll just take a look at the win conditions. I'm actually surprised to see Thassa's Oracle. It is a lot more fragile. Emery to mill more cards, because why not? Emery to mill more cards, because why not? And you can just loop Emerys. Yeah, I guess that's another thing. You can loop Opals now, you can loop Emerys. Yeah, because it mills how many? 4. Yeah, that is enough. Alright, and there's the Breach and EE as well. So yes, looks like Thassa's Oracle is their win condition. So Stonebrain for Thassa's does work. Alright, we'll run it back as is. I guess maybe they're worried about Bajuka Bog on the land ramp. That could be why they countered that. Are you enjoying a front row seat to Magic Gathering, Butter? You're just chilling in my lap right now. The thing is, the way he's positioned, he's like all the way underneath the desk in front of me. Alright, we're on the play for game 3. I mean, this is a turn 2 Karn and 2 of them to boot. Yeah, we're keeping this. I don't foresee my opponent being able to do much of anything about this. We can grab Stonebrain. We have so much we can do with this hand. Lab. Trigger. Imprint. Impulse. Pass. Pass. Bobble. Crack Bobble, target self, so you have a fetch. 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 Stomping Ground, untapped. Green for Nature's Claim. Rude as hell. Rumble. Well, let's go ahead and rumble. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I mean, we're pretty close to the breakers, so I'll say let's go with the breaker. And pass. And next time we're still casting Karn. That Nature Claim, though, that was rude. Saga. Grinding Station. I don't care much about that right now. Another lab, you say? Well, that would give me 2 extra mana. I mean, I think we go... So, what are we worried about? We're worried about Unholy Heat with Delirium, right? Or Galvanic Discharge. No, Galvanic Blast for Metalcraft. Let's go ahead and cast Karn. That's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So we'll be able to have World Breaker next turn. Let's minus Karn. Yes. Let's go ahead and we could have grabbed Haywire Might, I guess, and got rid of Saga. The thing we could have done. We'll grab Tormod's Crypt, though. Next turn, we can get rid of Saga. There's an island. Vel. We could have a consign in hand. Do you have the consign? Get rid of the Saga. You do not. Perfect. So Saga down. We will tick up on Karn. Tick down on Karn. Tick up on Karn. And pass. Once again, the Tormod's Crypt's holding some stuff at bay. Another Saga. Rude. Blue for Tamio. Oh, not Tamio. Emery? Yes. They are holding up red. That is significant. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Vel, let's go Cavernous Souls. Name Eldrazi. Let's grab World Breaker. Let's go ahead and cast World Breaker, get rid of that Saga. We shouldn't have to worry, but I will make it uncounterable. And we'll get rid of the Saga. we will attack with Breaker. Start applying pressure to the board. Grabbing bubbles, fine. Yep. So you now have Metalcraft for what it's worth. And we got there. Good stuff. Alright, well, with that being said, we'll be back for match 4. Alright, and we are back for match 4. I will keep this hand. This is pretty strong across board. It's a turn 2 Thought Knot or turn 2 Karn, so whether it's a fair deck or a combo deck, we're in a pretty good position. Not thrilled to see a Leyline of the Guild Pact. It might be a fair deck, but it's going to be difficult for us. I will tell you what. Devourer. Well, let's go with World Breaker. Let's Tuck Breaker, and let's play the Talisman and pass. So we can get rid of Leyline of the Guild Pact next turn if we feel it's necessary. They have 4 mana types. There's the Draco. It has hexproof. I mean, an All's Dust is what I really would like right now. Let's go ahead and Thought Knot. Fire, Ice, and... Oh, this is Rhinos. This is 5C Rhinos. Or Domain Crashing Footfalls, as it were. Well, we'll take the Ardent Way. Not entirely thrilled to see that. It's like, it's a fair, quote-unquote, deck in addition to combo deck. Not really combo, but I guess synergy. I can't even attack, though. It's rude. Opponent, you're rude. Yeah, there's the Fire Ice. You know, it's kind of insane that draws a card in addition to tapping, and is a split card on top of which. I never really paid too much attention to Fire Ice, but that's kind of nutty. Oh, let's go Ugin Lab. Tuck the Breaker. Play Karn. Grab Karn. Karn's gonna die, so we want this to be impactful. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Well, we don't have access to Leveler just yet, so I think we go with Bridge. This forces them to find Leyline Binding. Or Beseiju, if they run Beseiju. I don't know if they run Beseiju. But we can play around Binding. Karn will die for what it's worth. Karn, your sacrifice will not be in vain. Actually, do the Rainbow Rhino lists normally run? I guess this is more instead of like 5C Domain Crashing Footfalls. I guess it still is, but I remember it being colloquially termed Rainbow Rhinos during its inception at RC Denver. That was a frickin' time. I was playing how many copies of Warping Well? 3 copies of Warping Well in traditional mono green Tron at the time. Funny as hell. Crashing Footfalls, yes. Utopia Sprawl, yes. Forest. Target. Pay. For red? Question mark. For green? For red. Bridge. Pass. You found the leyline binding? You son of a... Well, we have the World Breaker for a reason. So on end step, we'll grab the breaker, get back my bridge, and even if you were to take the bridge, then at least I have a blocker. Two, three, four, five, six, seven, eight. Well, let's put Stomping Ground tapped. Breaker, get rid of binding. Give me back my bridge. We win here by just building up our board. And eventually sweeping with, I don't know, a frickin' Kozilek's return from the grave. Or exiled from the grave, rather. A Sowing Myco spawn. Whoops. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Let's go ahead and kick with the Myco spawn. We'll get rid of the lounge. Island, swamp, and plains. Well, no, island, swamp, and mountain. You want to get rid of the white sources instead? Because I think I'm going to take out that ley line of the guild pact next. So I guess let's get rid of the white sources. I'll grab a Sanctum of Ugin. That should be 7. We'll play a Talisman of Impulse and pass. And pass. Another Crashing Footfalls. Yes. Keep on feeding the rhinos to the Eldrazi's. Keep on pressing 1. I need to remember I took off the step. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Let's get rid of the ley line of the guild pact. Yes, I will trigger the Sanctum of Ugin. We'll grab another World Breaker. Moto, you're costing me so much time on my clock. Oh my god. Especially with this one going to be a long one. World Breaker. And pass. We'll get rid of a white source. Actually, yeah, we can just leave Devour underneath there for right now. Crashing Footfalls. Let's go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Another breaker hits the foundry. Pass. We'll put a pause on end step. Crack the wooded foothills. Grab a forest. Return the Devour to hand. A Kozilek's command, eh? Well, let's go ahead and play Devourer. Get rid of a Rhino. At this point, they want to get rid of the bridge, would be to their disadvantage. Flooded Strand, yes. What you playing, friend? Yeah, Leyline the Guild Pact is back. Well, let's go ahead and Kozilek's command. We'll leave back a green source. Let's see. We can top, bottom, bottom, top, top. Thought not seer. Get rid of the Leyline binding. What, you didn't want to play that this entire time, opponent? Are you sure? I feel like you should have. Let's get rid of that Leyline of the Guild Pact. Alright, well this is 5C, Domain, Crashing Footfalls. Win for game 1. So this matchup's awkward because like we could go Stonebrain, what does that really do, right? They have a mid-range game plan. We could go Dismember, but it's possible that it has hexproof, so Kozilek's Return feels better. We could bring in one Might. I think that's relevant. Yeah, I think we just bring in one Might and then send it. On the draw for game 2. I'll keep this. Means a turn 2 Mycospawn into potentially a turn 3 Breaker. You got your Leyline. let's crack the rainforest. Go for red. Unless you want to counter it. It's an option. You could do it. The thing you could do. I imagine they might bring in some number of consign. I know they have force. And pass. So we're going to imprint the Devourer underneath lab. Cast Sowing Mycospawn, and then afterwards Worldbreaker. Let's grab the Eldrazi Temple. And pass. What are we playing here? Charlotte's Agent? That is fine. Well, let's play the Shifting Woodland. Let's get rid of the ley line of the Guild Pact. Yeah. Make them work for it a little bit more. Because they have 1, 2, 3, 4. I guess they have all 5. But doesn't look like they have the ley line binding. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Well, let's go for another breaker. We'll get rid of the white source. Fetch. Blue. Subtlety? Subtlety. Yeah, I'll put this on top. Tapped and pass. And you could, I was about to say, you could attack, but conceding's an option as well. I'll take the win. Not sure why you would concede. I mean, your board state's disadvantaged, but it's not bad. I'll keep chipping away at lands, sure, but like, you have time. I can't just freely attack into this. But I won't complain with the win nonetheless. With that being said, we'll be back for round 5, an attempt to get our 4th trophy with Eldrazi Ramp. Alright, and we are back for match 5 on the draw for game 1 against Washer Dryer. You'd really have to high roll into a lab or a temple. Not against it. I'll keep it. And pass. One goes down to 5. Okay, reveal the Devourer. Windswept Heath. Okay, it could be a few things. Sacred Foundry. Well, it is Boros Energy. No, we'll go for the Eldrazi Temple. I would really love this command. I mean, I could go for the return. I could go for the return. It might not be a bad idea. Ugh. I think it's right to go for the return. As much as I hate it, I think it is correct. So we'll go Wooded Foothills and pass. Then go to end step. That's a dashed Ragavan. Not a fan of that. Don't hit anything good. Don't do it. You're not allowed. Well, that's like, you know what? I'll give it to you. I can't cast it right now. Imagine they're short on lands, that's why they're dashing the Ragavan. We'll crack. You know what? I should have done. I really should have actually cracked that Wooded Foothills when I saw Ragavan. It would have been awful if they hit the Stomping Ground. Imagine. I would have been so upset. Malevolent Rumble. Oh, we find the second return? Are you serious? Yeah, I mean, we'll go with the Myco spawn. So now there's a really interesting question. Do we cast the first return? Or do we just try and ramp into Devourer? Huh. That's interesting. And I don't entirely know the answer. You know, I think here's what we do. First, I should probably give myself the ability to respond to a Galvanic Discharge. A. B. We're going to block the Ragavan. We'll play a land, and we'll pass back to our opponent. They know we have the Soin Myco spawn, but they're not going to figure out why we're just passing it back. Though, with my luck, they will. And then we'll Kozilek's return. I think that's correct. Moto's struggling today. My opponent just asked. Moto has been laggy today. Very. It's bad. Okay, I'm glad that it's not me. That tells me that while it still could be my PC, or rather my laptop, Moto's also struggling. All right, we know about your Ragvan. There's your dashed Ragvan, the Monkey Man. We shall go ahead and go to blocks. We'll block the Ragvan, the Monkey Man. Down to 14. They'll make some tokens. Looks like they're not playing anything else. Play the Misty Rainforest. Pass the turn. Let's see if they sense danger. Do they understand that they are in danger? Elegant Parlor. Yes. Please do not top deck a Flage. It wouldn't matter too much, but it'd be upsetting. I mean, if they dashed Ragavan again, that'd be so good for us. Yes. Yes. In response. Forest. Resolve. Go to combat. Sorry, opponent, this is going to be a bad time for you. Kozilek's Return. And pass. No more Ragvan the Monkey Man. We did it again. We want to rumble. We'll grab the Eldrazi Temple. Play the Eldrazi Temple. Now we could do a couple of things here. I could Thought Knot, but I think it's better for me to ramp into the Breakers and the Devourers. So let's go ahead and Soin Mycospawn, not kicked. Grab a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yes, grab a temple. Is Moto lagging or is my opponent conceding? The world may never know. And we pass. And we pass. I guess 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now I'd be short on kicking the Mycospawn and a Thought Knot. If I draw into a land, I think I might do that though. Kick a Mycospawn and cast a Thought Knot. If Thought Knot could be kicked the same way Mycospawn can, what would Thought Knot's ability be? Would it be like also exile a non-land multicolored permanent? That'd be interesting. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then we grab a temple. I don't need to imprint this. How many temples do we have actually? 1 temple there. No temples here. We're good. But if I do imprint, I can grab a Sanctum of Ugin. So Devourer. Let's go ahead. And kick a Sacred Foundry. Let's grab a Sanctum of Ugin. Let's cast a Thought Knot. See what you got, opponent. And opponent decides to keep their secrets yet again. It's rude. I wanted to see what was in your hand. But we'll go to sideboard. The returns are good, obviously. I mean, so many Mycospawns are good. Like, I've been cutting Mycospawns for Dismember, but, like, is Dismember still good in this matchup? The data would say, they're okay. Funny enough, though, Kozilek's return in this matchup is also, it's okay. It's not fantastic, it's not great, but it's definitely better mulled over, as Guide of Souls can buff things big enough to where the return does not kill it if cast from hand. That's where Dismember is nice. Like, we have priority threats that we can take care of. But is the return just better? And is it better for us to hold on to the Mycospawns? Because apparently Thoughtnaught's been actually overperforming in this matchup, which is funny. And kind of makes sense. This deck, dumps their hand on field and kind of ends up with the same position that Burn can be sometimes, where they just have no action. And Thought-Knot can get them to that point faster, and if we take out the key pieces, then the puzzle kind of falls apart. Let's run it back as is. On the draw for game 2, I will keep this hand, keep, and pass. A Guide of Souls. Yes. Cast the Sprawl on red and pass. So what are we looking for? We're looking for a soul land. That would be ideal, I think. After last game, they have to be wary of overextending, I feel. Bombardment. That tells me they might have an Ajani next turn. Let's rumble. Rumble resolves. Does Rumble resolve? Opponent just friggin' forcing negations out of nowhere? Emrakul, you say? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Like, it might become relevant eventually, but I think the Cavern Soul is better for the second colorless source here. So, Cavern of Souls. Yes. And we have Shifting Woodland. We do have a Shifting Woodland. That does make it interesting. Cavern of Souls on Eldrazi. Another green source, and we can do some damage in the air, methinks. So I think I go Soin Mycospawn next turn. We'll hold up the ability to respond in case they try and give out Discharge and or ping with the Goblin Bombardment. Wouldn't it be bad just to cycle one of these commands, I think? Well, that's the last thing that we wanted to see right now, I'll be honest. Yes, that resolves. You got a cat. You'll sack the cat, targeting what? Targeting spawn in response. Johnny will flip. I am tempted. So they probably should have changed phases before doing this. I'm tempted to actually, with the reflective trigger on the stack, exile the cat. Like, we can just go scry draw, exile cat. And that will deal me 1 less damage. I guess technically not. Bombardment will, still do bombardment things. We'll still be able to draw 1, which I think is beneficial here. Because we really need to do something about the Johnny. We'll still take the 2. We'll take another one from Guide of Souls, but 1 less blocker for what it's worth. Not that we're hasting anything in. Down to 14. Well, let's go Shifting Woodland. Let's go Sowing Mycospawn. So now, the question is, do we go Forest for Emrakul? They have nothing in the air right now. The worst case scenario is that they could Charm on me and we just be dead in the water, right? I think we go for it. It would only take 2 turns to win. We'll be down to 11. Down to 9. Ooh, it's gonna be close though, versus if I go, Temple? We might be able to... I mean, I guess we can get rid of the Guide of Souls. Yeah, let's go Temple. We could also get rid of their red permanent, so that way they no longer have bombardment and are able to deal me damage with a Johnny. That would be good as well. You have a blocker in the air with the breaker. Yeah, I think that's correct. So we really need them not to have another red source in Charmo. That would be bad. Otherwise, if we don't draw in to the land, we can kick a Mycospawn, get rid of the Foundry at the very least. That would be good, and then we can grab a Sanctum of Ugin to play the World Breaker. That would be fine. Otherwise, we could also Kozilek's Command and get rid of Guide of Souls, which might not be a bad idea either. Oh, there's the Marsh Flats. Do you have the Flage, the Helix, the Mycospawn? Or do you have a Charmaw? Charmaw would be 3. It would be enough. It would be discounted by 2 because of the Cavern Souls and the Temple. They can both generate colorless sources. Well, there's the Marsh Flats. Shocking. The Foundry. Which is it, opponent? Pyromancer's fine. Do you pitch 2 non-lands? That is the question. You do. We might need to kill this Guide of Souls, but is that even going to be enough? Targets me for 5 damage. That puts me down to 9. 9 down to 6. Yeah, 5, 14, 9, 9, 6, 6, 4. Does it matter if I Kozilek's Command? It takes off 1 damage, right? Yeah, takes out 1 damage, but I don't think it matters. I think we're too late. I think we're too late. Because now we're down to 13. 13 down to 9. Yeah, we are still dead on board, for what it's worth. Unfortunate. We are 1 turn slow. Yep. No blocks. Down to 4, and then bombardment. Yep. Well, it is what it is. We did try, for what it's worth. And 0. Alright, well, let's go to sideboard for game 3. Well, I'll run it back as is. Yes, Butter? Hi, why are you upset? I'm making noises. Yeah, you're making noises at me. You want lap time? Come here. No, you want floor time. Well, I can't play if you're on the floor right now. Trying to think if we could have done anything differently. I don't think so, though. On the play for game 3, this is for all of the marbles. Oh, if I was on the draw, I'd take this. On the play, I don't think I can justify it. Mulligan. I will keep. I will drop the breaker. The breaker. I'll reveal Devourer. We're looking for a soul land. We did find it. So we can go Temple. I didn't press 1. I swear. I also hate when it lags like this because I don't know if, like, did I press something? Did I not? Should I press 5? Internally panicking that we just passed through my turn every time. So at the very least, this is a turn 2 Thought Knot. Though we could actually go for Rumble instead. There is a thought to doing so. Because we hit a Sowing Mycospawn. That would be kicked Sowing Mycospawn. A Guide of Souls is a bit unfortunate. I mean, I feel like ramping might not be a bad idea. So we go Lab, Devourer, Impulse, Rumble. Rumble resolves. And there's the Sowing Mycospawn. And pass. 2, 4, so yes, either one land or that spawn will get me there. We'll take out the Sacred Foundry. Elegant Parlor tapped. Okay. This is promising. Ragavan into the grave. Onslaught Pride is not great, but fine. And we'll pass. They can't do anything else this turn. Yep. Sanctum of Ugin, you say? Well, we will play the Sanctum of Ugin. 2, 4, 5, 6. Sowing Megaspawn, kick the Foundry. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We could go Devourer next turn, as long as they don't interact with the Eldrazi spawn token. Otherwise, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We'd have to find another land. So yes, let's go with the Devourer and grab a temple. I'm really tempted to go forest, though, I'm not gonna lie. Forest into Rumble is a choice. We could find another Myco spawn. We could find a breaker. We could mill over return. Honestly, I kind of like it. So let's go with forest. And then Rumble. We milled over the return. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So a land would be 7. So that way we can clear the board. Alright, and we pass. We'll hold up the ability to respond to a Galvanic Discharge or Static Prison. But otherwise, this looks like we'll clear the board next turn, unless they're able to interact with either the spawn or our lands. And we'll be able to crack the Sanctum of Ugin as well. We'll have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we'll probably end up grabbing a Sowing Myco spawn, most likely. Though we would be one short of Emrakul, and that's also really tempting. Opponent's thinking hard now. And if they play a creature, they get to float the Gydasaurs what it's worth, or another creature. We'll devour whatever that is, most likely. Though I guess that doesn't even matter since we're going to clear board. Okay. Let's see what you got. First off, do you have a land? I feel like they're pretty light on lands for the most part. At least most lists that I've seen. So it would not be surprised to me if they only had 2. Nope, they have the third. Or, yeah, they have the third. Pyro Surfer is fine. I mean, we get to clear the board as we intended. So they'll end up floating. What do they float is the question. They just float the cat. Okay. The cat does get the hidden. Down to 14. Ocelot Pride triggers. Oh, well that works out. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Well, it makes sense to me to attack the Myco spawn first. Because Myco spawn will also die. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Oh, we'll attack the Myco spawn. Do you block? It's recommended. There's no reason for them not to. Just block with a cat. Our thing's gonna die anyways. Yep, blocks with a cat. We'll move to damage. In second main, we will devour or clear board. And we'll grab Sanctum of Ugin. Or rather, crack Sanctum of Ugin. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So we can go World Breaker. Though actually, I think I might go Emrakul. Second main. Actually, cancel that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Crack the Windswept Teeth. Grab a forest. This way we can return Devour if we want. So Devour trigger, we'll get rid of the Pride just to make sure. Sanctum trigger, and Return trigger. We will trigger Return, clear board. We'll trigger Sanctum. Like I said, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That does give me exactly what I need, though I need to take a quick pause as someone's being a mischief man. Oh, come here, sir. I'll give the cat some attention after we secure the 5-0. Yes. So, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We have 7 mana right now. They could Charmaw us. That's an option. They didn't have it last turn, though. I think they would, so I think we go for that Emrakul to close it out. And pass. And we'll hold up the ability to respond in case we need to grab back Devourer. That would probably be the worst case scenario, though. The good news is, even if they were to moon this turn, we can still play the Thought Knot to apply more pressure. If they don't have the Charmaw, I think we just win. Even if they have a Static Prison, I can Static Prison my Talisman. So that way they can't use it on my Emrakul. And I think we're locked in. Still could be a Charmaw now, since they have a third land. They needed 3 mana for Charmaw. Seasoned Pyromancer is fine. We can pass the turn, because there's nothing else we need to worry about. You pitch a Flage and a Static Prison. Alright. Well, there's a land. Let's go Emrakul. We need 7. Emrakul. We'll pass the turn, go to combat. The question is, do we want to attack here? I think the answer is no. We'll chip away at some attackers. Interesting. So we could play another season Pyro. We could also Flage. We could pitch away their lands, which is relevant. Oh, we haven't drawn yet. We can't pitch away all their lands, though, is the problem. I mean, at least... No. I don't know what's the best play here. We wouldn't really be able to do anything else with their turn. I guess we could at the very least Flage and then target the Pyro, attacking with the Elementals, and then Flage is on board, but at least it hasn't targeted me. That might be the best play. Your hand is terrible. Your hand is terrible, I will admit that. Let's go Sacred Foundry. Oh, we're still in draw. Main. Sacred Foundry. Shock. Let's escape the Flage. Hello? Oh, Moto's having a moment. So at least then the 3 isn't at me, right? And then it gives them another play next turn, the Season Pyro. I want to give them another play of the Season Pyro. Do I care about the Flage bolting me? Let's... Guess I can even keep their life total down. What's the right play here? Is it possible that no play is the right play? Just having them attack in and Emrakul eating them is enough? Maybe. Look up the 24. Maybe we do Flage them. We Flage, we point at them, they stay at 21, they can't attack, bring them from 21 down to 8. And then we can attack in again and win? That might be right. Red, red, white. It just does give them a turn to Season Pyro, I guess, which I'm not as much of a fan of. Moto, I need you to not be so laggy right now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I clicked on the things. To... Okay. Done. Flage ETBs. Target self. Escape trigger. Pass the turn. Pass the turn. Go to attacks. Go to blocks. You can't really attack with Flage here. Next turn I'm going to push you to 8. You'll Season Pyro. And we're just hoping you don't hit a Static Prison. You can also 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We're 1 short on just devouring the Flage too. Well, let's go ahead and actually thought not. Take away your hand. Galvanic Discharge, yes, that's fine. Nothing but lands. Go to combat. Attack with Emrakul. And we'll hold up the return in case it's relevant. Down to 8. At most, you can go up to 11. You specifically need Chain to the Rocks or Static Prison here. It is still terrible. It is nothing but lands, friend. Trading with Flage might not be a good idea. We'll take 3 down to 10. Down to 4. What would kill me? I don't think anything kills me. Bombardment doesn't kill me. A Johnny doesn't kill me. I think we're in the clear. What do you have as this last card? Is it the Static Prison or Chain to the Rocks? It's a Guide of Souls. And we got there. There's the Marsh Flats, crack. Elegant Parlor. That's the Blood Moon. And I have no reason to do anything else right now. I don't believe so. Go to combat. And close out the game with Emrakul. GG's. All right, that is a solid 5-0 finish for Eldrazi Ramp once again. This is the 4th trophy with this deck. Small, slight alterations from having Leyline of the Void in the side. We're down 1 Thought Nut now. We're up to 21 lands. So some slight alterations here or there, but really solid performances. We play well into the fair game, and we also play well into the combo thanks to Karn. Overall, I really like it. My playstyle, or the way in which I prefer to play, is very wide. I like to have a wide net, especially into a closed meta, to where it could be anything. And being able to have both advantage in the fair game and the combo matchup feels really good. Still trying to gather as much data as possible for Regional Championship Portland to know whether or not Thought Knot is working well against Boros Energy, whether or not we should cut it for a Ancient Stirrings instead, whether we should go up to 22 lands, stuff like that. Is Kozilek's Return doing what it needs to do in main? There's a lot of good questions here. But with that being said, as always, if you guys did enjoy today's video, please do consider hitting that like button. If you did notice any misplays that I made, any missed lines, or just some cool things that you noticed, please comment down below. because as much as I hope that you all learn from me in both my successes and my failures, I hope to learn from you all as well. And finally, if you did get to this point in the video, please do consider hitting that subscribe button. We are getting closer and closer to 500 subscribers, and once we do, we'll be able to monetize this channel. And the reason why that's really important is because I'll be able to start saving up towards a streaming PC. Thus, I'll not only be recording, but also streaming live for your enjoyment over on Twitch. But with that being said, folks, thank you all for joining me today, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye!